Hey guys, Brian from Boas here. As you know, one of the topics that people are the most confused about when it comes to boas is their size and growth potential. And I've made quite a few videos in the past where I've looked at the sizes of boas of different ages, and typically they get a really good response. People seem to really like this type of video. And I started doing a series with boas where I would weigh them every year, including different types of true red tails. And so today I'm going to do the 3-year weigh-in for some of my true red tails that we've been following over the years. These are all 2020 babies born here in 2020, and they're now around 3 years old. I weighed them at 1 year of age as well as 2 years of age. Today is their official 3-year weigh-in. And the first we're going to look at are the Surinames. This is the female Suriname born here in 2020. This animal isn't quite yet 3 years old. She was born in September, so she's like 2 years and 10 months. So these animals are not all exactly the same age, but they're all about 3 years old. And of course, the system I'm using, I have my trusty kitchen scale here, which I'm going to zero out, and I'm going to use this as a weigh boat, this Sterilite tub. I would show you the exact weight on the scale, but I tried to set up my camera, it didn't come out so well. So trust me, I'm going to tell you the actual weight of each of these boas. So we're going to start off, this is the female Suriname. I'm just tearing or zeroing out the scale. We're going to put her on the balance here, let it rest. Okay, she is 667 grams, so 2/3 of a kilo. Okay, and as you can see, this is a 3-year-old Suriname. Some people might think, well, that's so small, it's only about 3 feet long. This is how long the Surinames often are at 3 years of age. Baby red tails tend to grow slowly their first few years, especially the Surinames. And this particular line of Suriname just grows slower than my other line. This is what I call my Picasso bloodline of Suriname that I have developed here. But this female's doing really well. She's starting to show a more muscular subadult body shape. As they mature, their body goes from being more round to much flatter and more muscular looking. She's also starting to show some really nice adult coloration, the beautiful lilacs and pinks and purples and beautiful deep red tail. So this boa is doing really well. She's probably going to be ready to breed in about another 2 to 3 years, but she's exactly where she should be at 3 years of age. Now let's go get the male Suriname to weigh. Here's the male from the same litter. This guy is a 2020 Picasso bloodline male. I believe this was Picasso's first litter that he sired, the famous Picasso. And this guy was just a real beauty that I had to hold back. He was actually a little bit on the smaller side, especially for his first year. And he grew kind of slowly the first year, but now he's been making up for it a little bit. He's actually in shed right now, so he's kind of cloudy looking. Let's just pop him on the scale. Okay, he is 601 grams. Okay, so a little bit smaller than his sister, but right where he should be for a 3-year-old boa. You can see looking on his side, you see this kind of lateral looking indentation. And boas, especially true red tails that have healthy musculature, will show this. Okay, if they don't show this, they might be overweight. If they show just ribs, they might be underweight. But you want a boa that just shows that nice muscle definition. This guy, he's about 3 feet long, maybe a few inches shorter than his sister, but right where he needs to be ready to breed in about 2 years. Next red tail to look at the size of is this 2020 born Pakalpa Peruvian female. You can see this female is obviously quite a bit bigger than the Surinames. I'd say she's at least a foot longer, quite a bit girthier. She just has grown faster, and the Peruvians just tend to grow faster than the Surinames. They're also larger at birth, which helps that they have that head start. But as adults, they're typically about the same size. Most of the adults are somewhere between around 6 and 8 feet long. And so This female is the same age. She was born in September, so she's not quite 3 years old, but just a really good healthy size for the age. So I'm going to give her away. So what I'm going to do is just put her in this snake sack. That'll restrain her a little bit, and then I can weigh her and get a more accurate weight. She'll go in there. I don't think I need to tie it up. Just need to kind of get her in there so she'll hold still. Let me just zero out the scale, and she is quite a bit bigger. She's 1565, so a little over 1.5 kilos, 1,565 grams. So quite a bit bigger than the Surinams, somewhere around 2.5 times the size at the same age. Next we have a male Pakalpa Peruvian from the same litter. This guy is not quite 3 years old. He's pretty similar size as his sister, probably around 4 feet long. Unfortunately, he's in shed right now, so his colors are a little bit cloudy. But you can see quite a bit bigger than the Surinams. And before I forget, I should mention I'm feeding these Peruvians medium-sized rats now about every 2 weeks. They probably can move up to larges pretty soon. You know, a large rat is unfortunately not what it used to be due to the shrinkflation of rodents. But I think a large rat would probably be good for this guy for the next couple of years until he reaches his adult size, or he'll probably be on the extra large rats. So we'll go ahead and I should also say that the Surinams, by contrast, are feeding on small rats right now. Probably move them to the mediums pretty soon. And I also continue to feed them the large jumbo size mice. So we'll go ahead and let me get this zeroed out real quick. We'll go ahead and weigh him with the bag technique so he doesn't go berserk on me. Okay, he's in the bag. Let me get him kind of scrunched up here. You zero this. Okay. So he is 1,416 grams. A little bit lighter than his sister, but you can see quite a bit larger than the Suriname boas of the same age. And this is normal. You're going to have variation in your true red tails based on the type of red tail they are, as well as based on the individual boa. This is the last type of red tail that I'm going to weigh in today's video, and this is not a true red tail. This is a Branchia Colombian boa imperator. As I've discussed in many of my other videos, I think these guys are just as nice, if not nicer, than the true red tails. So the fact that it's not a true red tail is really nothing that you should be concerned about. Just beautiful, beautiful boa. This is a female bred by my buddy Michael Beach. She is now a little over 3 years old, born in May of 2020. You can see she's visibly quite a bit larger than the true red tails. These boa imperator tend to grow quite a bit faster, especially for the first few years compared to the true red tails. You can just see how girthy she is. I'd say she's probably about 5 feet long. You can see the muscles are, quite a bit thicker and, maybe more developed than the Suriname true red tails. Surinams are going to get as big on average as this Branchia, if not bigger, but the Branchia just grow faster. And I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to be able to weigh her with this scale, because I don't think it goes that high. I'm guessing she's probably somewhere on the order of 3 or 4 kilos, but we'll just give it a shot. I can't even really get her in this bag. It's a little too small for her, so I'm not gonna force it, but hopefully she'll just cooperate for a sec here. We'll just get her on there. Okay. So I went ahead and I got a larger snake sack, put her in there, got her nice and still. Her official weight is 2706, 2.7 kilos. So almost twice as big as the Pakalpa boa, and quite a bit bigger than the Surinams. That's this 3-year-old Branchia female. Just get her out real quick. So obviously much faster rate of growth for this boa imperator compared to the true red tails. I'm going to weigh one more boa for today's video. That's the male Branchia Colombia boa, also a little over 3 years old. He's not quite as big as the female, but you can see he's still quite a bit longer and girthier than the true red tails, and he's kind of freaking out right now. So I'm going to just get him in to this snake sack, and that'll hold him still so I can get an accurate weight on him. Okay, so go ahead and put him on the scale. Okay, he comes in at 1,870 grams. So not quite as big as the female, but still quite a bit bigger than the true red tails. And incidentally, of my 3 branchias, the female is the largest. She's quite a bit bigger than my other female, and definitely than this male. You know, sometimes you just have variability in the sizes of boas from a litter, which I've seen in my own litters. So it's not at all surprising. Get this guy out here. He wants to hold on to the scale. And you know, the males on average are a little bit smaller than females, but it's not that huge of an effect. This guy is probably going to be maybe a half of a foot shorter on average than the females at full size. But the range of both males and females of pretty much any large boa is somewhere around 6 to 8 feet or so as adults, with the dwarf boas quite a bit smaller. So hopefully this video had some value for you. If you're worried about the size of your boa, if it's going too fast or too slow, chances are you don't need to be worried. As long as your boa is putting on slow but steady growth of anywhere from about 6 to 18 inches a year, you should be fine. You don't want to feed too much so they become obese, and you obviously don't want to starve them either. But your boa should have a nice, firm, muscular appearance and grow at a slow but steady pace. Hope you enjoyed the video. Shoot me any questions or comments you might have. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your boas.